Kang Lim is the protagonist of this story, who is also reading a webtoon. In the webtoon, the protagonist saves the heroine, and as thanks, she offers to have him come to her place for ramen. But the protagonist refuses. I know, I also had the same reaction, and you guys probably did too, just like Kang Lim and everybody in the comments. Kang shouts that he would never turn that down. Then his little sister came and curses at him for shouting like a fool, saying it's embarrassing. Kang tells her she shouldn't talk to him like that, but she slams the door shut. Kang is disappointed that he has to wait a week for the new chapter. While reading the comments, he stumbles upon one saying, "If you're so frustrated by the webtoon's protagonist, why don't you just be the protagonist?" Kang says, "If I could, I could." Trust me guys, I also want to be the protagonist of a certain anime as well. We head to Kang's school, where we meet his friend Shin Young Shin, who of course has Chinibu syndrome. While talking about their otaku stuff, Kang asks if he's read the latest chapter of that webtoon. Shin asks what webtoon he's talking about. Kang says, ESW. Shin says he hasn't heard of it. Kang reminds him, ESW, Escape, 6 Wives. Shin says, who'd have thought a masterpiece like this existed and I never knew? Kang asks why he's acting like he doesn't know it. Is it because his favorite heroine hasn't appeared in 2 months? Then Shin's phone starts ringing about an invasion on his base in a game. Kang then tries to search for the webtoon on the website, but he can't find it. The teacher tells everyone to settle down because a new transfer student is joining the class. The student enters and introduces herself as Yuta He. Everyone in the class starts talking about her looks and proportions. Kang suddenly stands up and calls out her name. Everyone stares at him. Shin asks if he knows her, and yeah, it's her, one of the heroines from ESW. Kang knows everything about her. Her hobbies, her favorite food, her clothes, even her blood type. Kang asks why she's here. The teacher asks he if she knows him. She says no. It's lunchtime. Shin asks Kang what happened, since he hasn't eaten. Now Kang is in trouble, because his favorite heroine has transferred into his school from a webtoon, and the webtoon is gone from every platform. And worse, everyone except him seems to have forgotten it ever existed. If he says anything, he'll sound crazy. Still, Kang is kind of happy that his favorite heroine is in his class. He makes eye contact with her, and she suddenly starts walking toward him. She asks if they've met before. Kang is too flustered to answer properly, and says no. He's never had a real conversation with a girl his age before. She says he seemed like he knew her that morning, and that she's just bad at remembering faces. Kang says, is she talking about CEO Eun-young? It was a reunion after a long time, and also mentions her favorite white chocolate. He knows all this because of the webtoon he read about her past. That he is surprised and asks how he knew that. Kang realizes he's made a mistake. CEO Eun is her childhood friend, and they had a reunion in England. So how did he know about that? He tries to brush it off with other excuses, but his classmates are staring at him, calling him a creep. That he starts to say something, but gets interrupted by some guys who ask her to have lunch with them. She accepts. One of the guys glares at Kang. I wonder what happened to Kang that everyone hates him, except for our buddy Shin. At home, Kang brings up a situation, and, as expected, everyone calls him crazy or says it sounds like a good plot for a webtoon. Kang's mother tells him to go buy ketchup. While walking home after buying it, Kang is thinking about Dahi, that she appeared in the first episode of the webtoon, but he can't remember what happened in that episode. Then suddenly, someone falls from a building. When Kang goes to check, he remembers the plot of ESW, Escape 6 Wives. It's a cliché shonen manga-style rom-com about 6 heroines caught in various crises, with a protagonist there to save them. And the first, Yuta He's arc, is the stalker incident, where she's protected by the protagonist in the original story. But now, since there's no protagonist, she's going to die. Kang is in despair because he knows everything but can't do anything to protect her. Just because there's no protagonist, she has to die. This is brutal. Kang, frustrated, curses. Suddenly, his teacher asks what he just said. Now he's back in the classroom. Then he walks in and introduces herself, exactly the same way she did that morning, making it clear that he's gone back in time to the morning. The mommy ends the class and asks Kang Lim to follow her to the office. Kang Lim is surprised that there's time travel now, but he's relieved that Dahi is safe. Still, he's unsure if he'll be able to save Dahi from that incident. In the office, the teacher lectures him for saying a curse word, but he's busy thinking about how he can save the heroines from their tragic fates. Isn't it the main protagonist's job, anyway? He accepts the reality and decides he can't let his favorite heroine die like that. He's going to save her. He knows what's going to happen, so it should be a piece of cake. This dude didn't even last a full day on his word. He wrote down all the possibilities he remembered. Shin asked what the problem was. You're awake and you didn't play any games? He then sees what Kong Lim wrote and assumes it's a self-insert story. Kong Lim replies that it's not. Shin tells him he doesn't have to be ashamed of what he wrote, that he also writes about his own past life. Kong Lim says, you should be ashamed of writing that. Kong Lim's problem is that he can't remember the exact details. But the bigger problem? He's way too different from the original lead. The actual lead is handsome, tall, extremely sociable, basically a walking nightmare for every introvert and nerd out there. And the nerd in question is Kong Lim, who somehow ended up in this situation. That original dude got all the heroines on his looks alone, and on top of that, he's a Taekwondo master, meaning stopping the stalker incident would have been a walk in the park for him. But Kong Lim can't save Dahi that way. So he asks Shin for advice. The main lead knows what's going to happen. So how is he supposed to stop it? Shin says, simple. If he knows what's coming, he should just jump in with his fists. Kong Lim fires back that he'd rather do it without violence. Shin starts making fun of him, saying he's way behind on trends for a high schooler. What? Do you want magic too? Kong Lim says he expected exactly this from him. Shin then says, if you know what's going to happen and where the heroine's going to get hurt, can't you just stop her from going to the rooftop? Kong Lim thanks him for the advice. Shin says it's all good, but they're literally in the middle of class and everyone's staring at them now. Even Dahi. After getting back from the office, Kong Lim decides to tell Dahi it's dangerous and come up with some excuse. Whether she believes him or not doesn't matter. Saving her life does. He slams the door open and calls out for Dahi. But seeing her surrounded by a crowd of students who all want to be her friend, Kong Lim suddenly feels it. The wall between them. The normie wall. Here's the thing. Kong Lim is an introvert. He can't just become a main character overnight and start conversation out of nowhere. Crossing that wall is hard for him, so he waits and waits. The wait drags on. He tries to approach her, but can't. Now it's lunch break, and he still hasn't told her anything. He's frustrated that she's always surrounded by a crowd, but it's fine. He gets another chance when Dahi comes over to talk to him during lunch. He waits for her to arrive, but a group of guys shows up and pulls her off to the store instead. He's in despair. Why didn't she come like she did before the time skip? Did the future not change? No. He realizes the morning incident left a bad first impression, and that changed things. But he takes action anyway and tries to talk to her, and gets sent straight back to the morning, right as Dahi introduces herself. Kong Lim, what the hell? He loops back again, and this time he figures it out. He's stuck in a time loop. Took him long enough to realize it. Now, he has to figure out the trigger. The first time, Dahi's death was the trigger. But the cause of the second loop was that he couldn't talk to her and left a bad impression. So this time, he decides to just act natural until lunch. He's greeted by his friend Park Young-ah, who asks why he's walking around with dead fish eyes. Kong Lim says she always says that. Young-ah wants to show him the first chapter of her new work. She remembers she wants to enter a competition and asks for his review. Kong Lim agrees and asks what genre it is this time. Fantasy. She was planning to show him in the club room, but they ran into each other instead, so Kong Lim assumes she wasn't planning to show him after all. Oh boy. She says yeah, but the real question is, will this cause a butterfly effect? He never originally met Young-ah this early. Last time, he just ran off and she went okay. This time, he tried his best to grab her attention in the morning. Now, they just have to wait for her to show up. Dahi approaches him from behind, saying, have we met before? His mind goes completely blank. She asks why he's being so formal. She assumes they've met since he acted like he already knew her, even though she's bad with faces. Kong Lim is fighting for his life, trying to start the conversation. He says, and Dahi just goes, yeah? Kong Lim considers telling her she's about to fall from a rooftop, but realizes that would be incredibly weird. She asks, "What's up?" Before he can say anything, some guy calls Dahi from behind, asking her to come to the store. Kang Lim panics. Did he run out of time? Is it over? But he stands up and shouts a name. Seo Eun-young. He'd heard about her from Seo Eun-young herself. Dahi freezes, turns around, and says, "Eun-young? You're friend with her?" Kang Lim says yeah. She always talks about her. He explains that he knows her because, in the webtoon, she's Dahi's friend. Dahi steps closer to Kang Lim. "Really? You know her? Do you know her secret nickname?" He says, "It's Chanja." Dahi replies that it seems he knows her pretty well. "So, I'm guessing you know about me too?" Kang Lim, "What?" Dahi, "Shut up and follow me, or I'll slime you right here."